Alrighty guys, it is June 7th, it's 1 p.m. We got done at work at 10:30 today. Luckily, construction season isn't full swing right now. It's been a kind of a weird year, a late start to the construction season, so we've been having half days on Fridays still. So I've been taking advantage of it a little bit. So we're gonna try to go fish that same pond that I fished 2 weeks ago. I ended up catching 6 bass, and they're all in the south finger of the pond. I didn't catch anything on the main pond, and we've been getting a bunch of rain lately, so I'm hoping the water levels are a little high. A couple of other ponds I've seen around town have been high, so I'm hoping this one's high as well. When I was a kid, we used to do really good when the water was high, so I'm hoping that's the case today. Hopefully we can catch a couple more and a couple bigger ones. So we're on our way over right now. It's a nice 70-degree day. We're gonna be throwing a bunch of different baits, and we're gonna try to catch a bunch, so stay tuned. Alright guys, got 4 pulls today. Last time I only had 3. But I got the jig, a swim bait, the popper, and the wacky rig. Last time the wacky rig and the popper caught my fish. Figured I'd bring the jig just to target some bigger fish, and the swim bait just to change up some appearance. But we're gonna get fishing. Water is actually really low, which is really surprising. So this should be interesting. Much lower than last time, which is a big surprise. We're gonna start casting. Stay tuned. It's ridiculous. Got him. Saw that bass cruising in some skinny water. He was probably in about 6 inches of water. I thought I spooked him, but he ate it. The pond's super low. I'm working my way back out. The pond's damn near unfishable with how low it is and how many weeds there are. So we're gonna head to a different pond, but at least we didn't get skunked. Alright guys, we are going to get a little creative since there's so many weeds and I'm struggling with the popper. We're going to throw this weightless swim bait as a topwater with this wacky rig hook. Probably not ideal, but we're going to adapt. I don't have much tackle with me, and it might work. So there, weightless topwater bait with a swim bait and wacky rig hook. Got one. Had one. definitely a fish over there that as soon as it hit the water, it freaking surfaced on my bait. Let's see if we can get him. Oh, missed it. Way behind it. Alrighty guys, pond 1 was basically a bust, and I wasn't planning on making this a pond hopping trip, but I definitely want to catch more than one fish, and I want to catch some nicer fish. Problem with that pond is the weed growth was just insane, and I know I said it 2 weeks ago, I could see the weed growth being very bad in this pond mid to late summer, but we're late spring and it's basically unfishable unless you have a topwater bait or something weedless that's going to stay on top. There's a couple pockets I was throwing the wacky rig in, and I could see fish kind of just cruising. I didn't see any big ones though, so I just caught that one that was I saw cruising, and that was in 6 inches of water probably. I tried throwing the weightless swim bait as a topwater bait with my wacky rig hook, and I had one blow up on that. But we're gonna try this other pond. There's actually some big fish in here. It's been a while since I fished it, but there's some pretty big fish. Probably start throwing the popper. It's not as nearly as big as this pond, but it's much deeper, and there's hardly any weeds, and the only issue is there's cattails all the way around the pond, so hopefully the cattail growth isn't too crazy. But we're gonna give it a shot. Hopefully we catch 1 or 2 fish. Stay tuned. There's one. A second cast. Holy crap. Oh, guys. The cattails are much thicker than I remember. There's about there's probably 10 feet. Oh. There's cattails 10 feet away from shore. I'm literally casting over them. That's my second cast, my first fish. We gotta try to find a spot to let this guy go. Hate to throw him. Here's a little spot. Try to get him out there. There he goes. Number 1 on the popper. There's a nice one. Oh, I got off. I just barely saw a blow up. Freaking fish right there. There's one. Number 2 on the swim bait. Probably about the same size as the last one. They're pretty dark in this pond though. I think it's pretty deep in the middle. It's number 2. I fished all this with the popper and didn't have any luck. It was pretty windy. I did miss one, and I had one kind of wake at it. That's the second catch with the swim bait, and we got a fish already, so hopefully we catch a couple more. Cattails are super bad. It's hard to cast. It's a struggle, but Hopefully get a couple more. It's fun. All right, guys, we're gonna catch some fish over here. It's looking bassy. There's one. Called it. Same size as the last one. It's the last two about. There's some big ones in here too. There's probably some 5-pounders in here that I've caught on topwater frogs. Number 3 in this pond, number 4 of the day. It is windy out. Gosh. There's another one. Nicer one. They're getting bigger. Told you guys we were gonna catch some fish right here. It was looking bassy. It's a nice pond fish, nice and dark, healthy fish. Choke that swim bait. Let me get a picture. And the biggest of the day so far. Sorry, buddy. Look at that little guy. It's number 5 out of this pond. 4 on the swim bait. 1 on the popper, and then I got 1 at the other pond on a wacky rig. Little guy, littlest of the day. There's one. It's number 6 out of here. On the swim bait, fishing basically cattails. Crazy. Alrighty guys, we are done for the day. The wind's really picked up and we're basically in an open pond here. There's a couple of hulls. It's fairly open. We're gonna get back to the truck and I'm gonna do my outro. Alrighty guys, we are leaving that second pond and we're calling her quits for the day. I ended up catching 7 bass total today. 1 at the first pond on the wacky rig and 6 at this last pond. 5 were on the swim bait and 1 was on the top or popper. So first pond, lots of weeds, very tough to fish. Water was lower than I expected. Basically impossible to fish unless you had some kind of top water weedless bait. Second pond, super windy. Cattails were like about 10 feet wide. You had to cast over those. There was a couple open pockets where it got a little thinner, but it was still, it was a struggle to set the hook just to get to cast and just to see your bait if you were throwing top water. I made technically 4 rounds around that pond. 1 with the popper there and back, and then 1 with the swim bait there and back, and I ended up catching quite a few on the swim bait there at the end in probably about 30 minutes. Fished for 2 hours. This whole trip was probably only fished for like an hour and a half between the drive times and stuff, so pretty fun. No big fish really were caught. That biggest one was maybe 13 inches. There were some big ones in that pond that I've caught, but couldn't get them to bite at least. Did lose a couple, 2 fish on the top water. One just missed it, and then one came off. I just didn't get good hooks into them. It bit right next to the cattails, and I could hardly see the blow up. But it's pretty fun. I'm gonna be going up north tomorrow. Like I said, it's Friday, June 7th. Anyways, stay tuned for a bunch of videos coming up here, and as always, thanks for watching.